We're live? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so welcome to Everett Superplay Enjoys episode number 19 we have already reached, and today's a special one. The title is Evolution of bun-detsu, and we are breaking down the breakup, what that means. I will explain in a bit, but obviously today we are joined by the host again, Pearl, and we do have a guest, not a secret guest, not a mystery guest this time, but he was announced as well. It's the expert on what we are going to explain today. It's Maz, and
He-
yeah, it's
Hello,
it's
everyone.
a bit of a change for once today. So it's not the usual format of watching two super plays back to back. But instead, we are going to look into the history and the development, not only of one particular game or one particular stage, even, but indeed just one very specific part of this game, which is Ikaruga. The specific part may only take like 20 to 25 seconds, depending on a couple of factors we are going to look into today. And it's called bun-detsu by Japanese players, which means something like to break up something. And this is also the reason why the title of the episode is what it is. What basically happens is that you shoot like these ball enemies, the ball-shaped enemies at the end of stage or chapter 3, as they call it, and the balls break up into more balls, and then you break those up again, and more pop up. So this can lead to skyrocketing your score, skyrocketing your chain count. And MAZ has very recently, just a few days ago, reached the amazing chain count of 273, which is by far the highest chain count overall in the game. And this also makes Chapter 3 the most important chapter in the game. And even though it's probably not as hard as a Batsugun no Miss, it's still incredibly hard to optimize. And we will see all the very technical details today in all its glory. And in my very own opinion, this is probably this was the last remaining part that there was to solve in the game, so to say, because all the other chapters are more or less optimized chain count wise. Of course, you can still get more bullet absorption and stuff like that. But this part in particular, the bun-detsu part, still had some more chains to offer. But maybe we are reaching in 2023 the point where this part can no longer be improved. Or maybe can it? Maz will enlighten us further on this very part. So take it away, Maz.
Okay, thank you for the nice introduction. And let's start with the fundamentals. Okay, we are taking an old video of mine. Okay, we are at the end of stage 3, right before the mid-boss spawn. Now, we know that stages in Ikaruga have a predetermined duration regarding gameplay time. Okay, the particularity of the last part of stage 3, from mid-boss to the spawning of the stage boss Uzura, is that we can speed kill basically everything, so that in a full caravan fashion we can make more enemies spawn, and if we are skilled enough, make more chains. Okay? So, mid-boss spawning. Okay. This is the part where the mid-boss is actually active, so you can hit him. From now on, we can speed kill everything. We got first the mid-boss, okay? I am illustrating here an old video of mine, so this is a pre-2022... One moment. Okay. A pre-2022 clip. Okay. We are going to do a lot of clip analysis. The Bunretsu started to spawn. Those round enemies are called Utatsugumi. We have the succession of 3 waves if we get a fast shiggy enough. The first wave is of black polarity, and you can get 14 chains out of it. Let's see. We can see that the second wave, the white wave, is already on screen, and it just give us an hard time if we want to chain the black wave, the first black wave. Then we start with the white wave. We have 27 chains available for this section. The third wave, a black wave, starting to spawn. So we have it dictates our movements so that we can chain all of the second wave. We have a third wave. We can see the fourth wave spawning, but it is not our interest. And then the boss spawn. Okay. Plasmo already detailed why the section is called Bunretsu. Is a nickname that we borrowed from the Japanese players. It means to break up, division, because you are dividing black enemies from white enemies. Okay, is this all clear? It's all okay?
Before you continue, could I just fix one issue? Remember how I
Of
told you
course.
to mute the mic on OBS? Could you
Right.
could you unmute it, and then I will completely fix any sort of delay.
Of course.
All right. All right, I think we're good to go. We're good to continue.
Okay, a really predetermined moveset. The case is that, let's see. Basically, you have to spare this Bunretsu at the end to the right. Hit the other Bunretsu that might survive at center. Perfect. The key to this chaining is that you want those two Bunretsu, last Bunretsu of a wave, to close together, and the way they are overlapping, you kill them and start to kill the second white wave. Okay, let's see again. Just as they overlap, you kill them and start doing the same on the white wave, right? Okay. Till 22, nobody knows what was triggering and regulating Bunretsu spawning. We can see that in this way, the white wave is quite slow in spawning. You have time to. You can see that I'm already pausing a little bit at the center because the first Bunretsu of the third wave is so late in spawning, it takes me all the time I need to chain everything in the wave. Okay, this is in fact a slow wave spawn, meaning that the first black enemy shows up late, as you can see here, and it lets you execute a wide lateral movements with your ships in order to have lots of white enemies undisturbed. You see?
So these white enemies are basically two waves, are they?
Second wave.
Was it just
Yes. The white wave is the second wave. Okay. First wave is black. Third wave is black.
Is it the same amount of enemies as the black wave before had?
No, the first black wave is 14 chains. Second wave is a total of 28 chains, in to say the truth. But you chain 27
Yeah.
because
I see.
you can watch this one. You see a white a white Utatsugumi leaving the screen, and that white Utatsugumi is a spawner Utatsugumi. If you destroy it, it makes spawn 2 other round enemies. Okay, so you are losing a chain, but this is part of the pattern, so it's not a big deal. Okay. The problem is that this very restrictive pattern was devised to have a slow spawning speed. Nobody know the reason of if the original players of the Superplay knew the reason. Their knowledge did not survive to present days. Fast forward to 2022, and we have a Japanese player, Mamachi, posting on his Twitter account a video where he was explaining what effectively was happening. Okay, he managed to, thanks to frame per frame analysis, to understand the event that was triggering the other waves spawning. Let's see. The key is all about the number of enemies on screen. Basically, the game checks every 24 frames the number of Utatsugumi on screen. And the event that triggered the following wave spawning speed is the passage from 7 or less enemies back to 8 or more enemies. Let me show it to you. Okay, let's go to the end of the first wave chaining. Okay, yeah, a lot of enemies on screen. Okay, stop. I said stop. Let's count the enemies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In this moment, I'm not triggering anything. Or, to be more precise, I'm letting the game decide when the next wave will spawn with a very slow speed. If the game do not check a reduction in the number below 8, okay, no problem. Okay, no problem. Okay, looks like we're back. No problem. Okay, looks like we're back. Are we? Yes.
Yeah, we are.
Here we are. Okay, so what we were speaking about? We were speaking about the fact that was triggering the spawning speed is the passage of a set number of enemies back to 8. So we have 7 or less enemies, and we get back to 8. You are hearing me talking about wave spawning speed, etc. But what I mean by this, because in this clip we are just seeing one. Okay. Fast forward to 2022. During early 2022, a group of Japanese players, Ikaruga players, started sharing strategies to boost the score seeding of Chapter 3 to 8 million and beyond. The effort of those players, which I have to be honest, I joined pretty soon, split in 2 main areas: gaining time by getting a faster shiggy speed kill, and optimizing the tier Bunretsu wave. We will return to shiggy later. The initial focus of this episode will be about Bunretsu chaining. I am not going to chronicle every step, but since there were well-defined routes for the first two waves already, the efforts initially focused on developing an efficient, consistent chaining solution for the third wave, and in making it the third wave, the second black wave, actually, spawning faster and faster. Those developments are allowed to approach initially 270 chains in the chapter, against a previous max count of 265. This was really a great improvement. Then I, along with other Japanese players, started to investigate whether you could adopt this route or some variation of it to the first two waves as well, which if possible would make a quicker job of them and save time for the last wave. But while striving for this very objective, I kinda of sorted out that there weren't just two types of wave spawn, slow and quick, but several. To our viewer benefit, I will directly explain how I classified the various chaining patterns in relation to the third wave spawning speed. This is the result of a lot of practice, because there is another way around it. You will see quite a subtle difference that requires a lot of variation in execution. But all of this work then allowed for what we will see a bit later. Okay, so we start with what we just saw. Okay, first one thing. This is a very fast shiggy, so normally in game you are not going to get all this time. Okay, we have the black wave. You see the number variation right now. I am repeating the process for the white wave. You see, we are spawning 3 slow patterns. This is a very solid pattern already. It's very stable. If you want to start to score this, the segment, it is the best way to start, but it has a problem. It is slow, as the name says. So let's go to the medium.
Are there any version differences between GameCube and Steam?
We are coming
for
to
this section.
Of course, we are coming to that later. Don't worry, we have got you
I see.
covered.
Yeah, okay, alright.
We have the medium wave. Let's go directly to the third wave. Okay, this particular way of making it spawn at what I call a medium speed was devised by player Takashima. You see, let's go a little bit back. I'm intentionally leaving this Utatsugumi alive. The rest of the chaining for the second wave is quite similar to what we saw for the slow speed pattern. You see? Okay. You see, I am using the double shot weaving to kill those two together and then start chaining the black wave. What's the reason for this? Basically, we are delaying the passage from 7 or less back to 8 a little. We are anticipating the passage from 7 or less back to 8 a little bit, so that the system make the following wave spawn a little bit faster. Let's see. Okay, I'm chaining the Y. You can see this. What you have to put your eye on is okay. You see, this the first Utatsugumi of the fourth wave spawning a little bit faster from the previous video, okay? Do you want me to make a comparison with the other video? Or we can get to, is the difference evident enough?
Yeah, that's fine, I think.
Okay, perfect. Then we have the, after a slow and a medium, we have a fast. The fast wave is a bit of the villain here, because this is a very hard wave to fully chain, because, let's see. Okay, we are finishing chaining the white wave. Okay. Here we see the black and white utatsugumi overlapping pretty closely together, and you have not the right timing to chain everything. Let's see. You see that the chaining is not stable, not regular, and we left a lot of black utatsugumi on screen going to the back of us, basically in out of the chaining area. For chaining area, it means that utatsugumi will be chained while being in front of you, right? Of course, because you're not shooting backward with your twin shot. You can see a lot of utatsugumi are escaping to the back of us and are basically out of range for chaining. Then we got the game changer, the super fast wave. This pattern was created by Japanese player Kirisame, KRSM on the Steam Ikaruga leaderboards. This spawning pattern is pretty special because not only it is really fast, but we can spare a lot of time, but it's fully chainable. Let's see. Okay. Okay, perfect. Let me explain it. What we are going to do. We are chaining. You can see that the white wave chaining is already changing and is a bit more specific. We are absolutely not waiting for the two last white utatsugumi to join at this area of the screen to kill them first. Then what we are going to do, by killing most of them while they are on this half of the upper screen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, we are anticipating the number reduction a little bit more, so that we get the black wave to spawn faster. You can really see of how the utatsugumi, the first utatsugumi of the following wave is spawning very fast. Okay, you see. And then, okay, we got the rest of the wave right. One last thing, while save state practicing, I encountered another even faster wave, which I call ultra fast. This is a very rare wave because the timings for it to spawn are really strict. Let's see. Okay, you see, I have not even started chaining the black wave, that the white wave is already spawning. This has the advantage of being extremely fast. So it's the time spared is even greater than the previous pattern, but it has the same issues of the fast wave, in which because it is impossible to chain it totally. So basically, it has to be avoided. You see a lot of
what triggers this very fast spawn?
Okay. As I said, the timings are really strict. You can see basically that for the white wave we are repeating what we are doing for the super fast, for the Kirisame wave, okay? The Kirisame pattern. Okay, no, not really, but you're this was already the next step, but we are doing the same exact movements of the previous wave. I actually made some researches. One moment, I have a comparative video. I'm not good at making video stuff, but I managed to get a comparative video at least for this one. Here we go. Okay, one moment. Okay, here you see here the super fast, here the ultra fast, and here to the left the super fast. What was the difference? I frame for frame analyzed, give a true analysis of this video, and watch this. Here is the key moment. You can see to the left the distribution of the white utatsugumi is slightly different from what I'm getting to the right, and the moment in which the passage happen is different. In particular, by slightly delaying here in the ultra fast, I made this utatsugumi drop off. Yeah, one moment. It is the bugger. Ah no, okay. Watch this. This white utatsugumi is the key, because by staying in the on screen, it augments the chain count, the utatsugumi count, of course. Basically, what happens is that then the passage on the right, the passage from 7 or less to 8, happens right before this utatsugumi leave the screen. It's just about a few frame difference, but it makes the spawn different, the spawning different, the spawning speed different. I understand that those are very subtle differences, but it was the reality of Bunretsu chaining. Is a very ugly optimized part of the game, where you are basically trying to match what happens on screen the best you can. Also, what I want to say is that I am presenting you different spawning speed, but we really have not determined the spawning speed. It's not like I am doing this, I am getting exactly this spawning speed, I am getting exactly this pattern. This is more like a continuum of possibilities, where if I do certain things, if I execute a certain pattern, I am likely to get this pattern, but those patterns are not equal to each other. So you got a really quite different, slightly different pattern configurations, pattern speeds every time. But not only that, you can have also borderline mixed spawning speeds, like we have we can spawn a pattern that is between a fast and medium pattern, and this will screw you up quite easily, which accounts for the difficulty of the Bunretsu in the first place. Okay, I got a bit carried over by the description. The fact is that you want to have a very strict execution. You are taking all the possible hints you can, so that execution is by being more strict is more easy to replicate, and you can force the pattern you want on your routes. Okay, so What was the end result of all of this work in 2022 is that we got to a point where there was this optimal pattern from Kirisame that has 67 chains potential, and that was, as I said, a really incredible progress, because the max chain count was 62. Yes, 62. This is okay. What you saw here, super fast. Here we go. You can see that I'm leaving some chains behind. Okay. Let's see. Those are not destroyed immediately. There are Bunretsu flying all over the place. With time, players get better at this strat. So we managed basically to chain everything in the tiered wave. Okay, there is just a really little difference here, but more of this about later. You can see over here, this is my gameplay, and you can see over how I'm already basically chain every Bunretsu. Okay, those if closed, if the last chain was closed, I ran out of time. This would have been 27 chains for the tiered wave, just like, exactly like the second wave. Okay, this is the end of first part. There are some questions, maybe?
No, I don't think so.
Ah, okay, nice. Now, the problem is what we saw here is really hard execution-wise, and I struggled a lot. I remember the green for 8 million for me was a bit longish one. It was like a 4-month affair. And what happened during this time is that I got 2 very lucky breaks, and the funny part is that I was not the one actually making them. Okay, the first lucky break, here we go, is that I saw a post on Twitter from player Kirisame. Kirisame was posting this video where he was doing a pretty particular thing. Okay, here we go. He basically was using his super fast pattern on the second wave, because he just wanted to study how much time, how much chain you can get with the time you have for the tiered wave. Let's see. You can see him starting to chain the first wave. There we go. He was replicating the... Okay. This is a super fast spawning, and he was doing it on the second wave. Okay. He stopped at the exact time where he calculated the time for the tiered wave would have been expired. To say the truth, this little clip shocked me a little bit, because I was like, hey, wait a minute. You can actually gain time by forcing the super fast spawn on the second wave. And then what will happen for the tiered wave? I was pretty excited about it, and asked to the Japanese, some of the Japanese player about it, and started doing some research. In particular, Kirisame and Mamachi with me tried to investigate these possibilities. But what was the problem? The problem is that first wave chaining. Okay. The problem was that first wave chaining was really hard. Or to be more exact, is that chaining the first wave in the right wave to get a super fast second wave was extremely tricky, extremely difficult. Timing was crazy tight, and so we have this difficulty in performing it, severely limited our opportunities to practice it. and we were getting very few super fast second wave to practice, and we relegated it to TAS material basically. Plus, I was already having trouble with regular Kirisame pattern, so I focused my effort in that direction. More about this later. The second lucky break is that at one time I asked player Xer to analyze a video I made about this pattern. For the ones who does not know him, Xer is an incredible player. He started playing the game with the Ika.UK community, and is basically my Ikaruga master. I think we have him in chat. A big shout out to Xer if he's in chat, or a big shout out even if he's not in chat, because he will surely watch this episode. We tried to have him with us for this episode, but sadly he was unable to participate. And by the way, let's go back to the super fast spawn. No, okay, I think we can stay with the other one. He make a very nice observation, which was basically this. What if you can kill... No, better make this other... Sorry guys, one moment. Okay. He watched the video frame for frame, and he noticed that what was delaying the final the killing time of the second wave was this Utatsugumi. You pay attention. Okay, you see he escape, and you have to kill it by waiting until it is possible to kill it, right? He just said, but what if we can kill it with a slight zig to the left before it escape, and you have to get it later? It was a very sound observation. It was like an eureka moment, because I saw this trick already. Funnily enough, I saw this trick already because it was posted at the time in early 2022 by player Takashima. Let's see the trick in the first stance. Okay. Okay, watch now. Okay, I'm killing it now, because I'm killing those Utatsugumi, slight zig to the left, and then I continue my movement to the right. Tac tac, okay? Freeze there, okay. By killing it here. This is a trick I saw from Takashima, and funnily enough, in his tweet he wrote something along those lines. This trick, I hope that this trick will be useful for future strats, so I'm sharing it here just in case. This little trick was incredibly important, because it increased my consistency in triggering the super fast spawn for the third wave, when I was first grinding the 8 million for stage 3. And by increasing the consistency, I of course got more opportunities to practice the super spawn speed and got better at it, of course. But not only that. One moment. Okay, now we can. Watch what happens if we apply all of the what we already explained here. Never bind the miss at shiggy. Okay, this is regular first wave chaining. Bam. Okay. You see, I'm applying the Takashima trick on the first wave so that I can get a super fast second wave spawn. You see? This is exactly the same pattern we were using for the third wave, but applied to the second wave. Is this clear?
And you do it a third time as well. That's clever.
Okay, nice. But a final barrier was waiting for me. As you can see in this video, we got a correct first wave, a super fast second wave, but what do we get for the third wave? You see all those Utatsugumi overlapping here with a white one? We got the fast wave, the one that was unchainable. That was, at first it was very discouraging, because that was a lot of work that went into basically a dead end, okay? But again, now we get another thing to explain, because I was practicing the Bunretsu on GameCube, Dolphin emulator to see the truth. And what was the problem with the GameCube is with GameCube we have two main problems. Okay, we are going to GameCube footage now. Okay, here we go. The problem with the GameCube version of Ikaruga, it's a pretty solid port, but with practice, I noticed that there are some differences with the Bunretsu part. First and foremost, we get more time for Bunretsu chaining. I don't know why it is so in the GameCube. We got maybe it's there. Okay, no, I don't have it here, I think. Okay, we get both more time for the Bunretsu, but the funny part is that on the GameCube you can't, it's basically impossible to make the super fast wave spawn. That was a bit of a bummer, because I basically at the time was trying to replicate the Kirisame pattern on GameCube. It was impossible. I thought that it was just me not being good enough, and so in desperation I started to look for experimental new way of chaining the Bunretsu. For example,
Why was it not possible to replicate Kirisame's strategy on GameCube?
Okay, because on GameCube the first wave and the second wave works identically to Naomi, to Steam, to the other version. I think that the system has troubles checking the number variation with the third wave, because if you do certain things, spawning is equal, but in other occasions the spawning is totally different. Okay, you are not getting the expected results you will get on Steam.
That's weird.
It's extremely weird. I've not investigated in a very technical matter about it. To say the truth, my experience with it is pretty much empirical. We will need a player that is very good with shmups and very good with video editing to investigate it. PRL. But it's really a thing that is maybe worth to investigate, because we have these two main differences that basically are game changing. Let's see. This is an experimental pattern. You see, the movements are different, right? I'm staying more at center. Okay. Where is? Okay. You see, I'm leaving this Bunretsu, I'm chaining it later, I'm staying more at the center. It's basically a different pattern. But all of this work basically encouraged me to look for alternatives. So I started to look for alternatives for the fast third wave. Where we are, yeah, okay. Perfect. No, this is a miss. Okay. Okay, this is a clip from the 273 recent 273 chains run. Okay, what we got? First wave. We are closing it faster so that we can spawn the second wave in a super fast way. Kirisame pattern for the second wave. Fully chained, nice. Now, what we get is an alternative pattern. I devised. What is the particularity of this pattern is that you are chaining it not only in a different wave, but you are waiting for the... You see this Bunretsu. This is the Utatsugumi of the wet wave that usually got away. With this wave, we are killing his counterpart in the third wave too, so that we get another additional chain. Let's see. You see, he got in the killing range. So we gained one more chain because we got more time for killing all the Utatsugumi we need to. And we get another more chain because we are killing another Bunretsu that is supposed to go away with the previous strat. Okay. Let's see. Okay, nice. Basically, we are okay. Let's see some shenanigans first. This is a pretty hard strat to execute too, and I will show some examples of possible recoveries to show where are the hardest parts. Okay. Okay, we are getting good now, but watch now. Okay, you see that while I'm doing this diagonal, this white Utatsugumi escaped. Okay, the diagonal is pretty hard to execute because basically we are costing this black Utatsugumi while using the Ikaruga basically as a pointer to divide white Utatsugumi from black Utatsugumi. Let's see. Okay, missed. What I'm doing here is a recovery strat because I know that I missed it, of course, I saw that, and I switched to the recovery. Let's see what will happen. Okay, what this one remembers you is basically the Takashima pattern for the medium speed spawning, right? Okay, this is exactly the same identical pattern we get we showed first, and we're using it as a recovery.
Do you have a visual cue for when and where to start the diagonal movement? Because it looks really tight, you almost ram into...
Okay. If you, I will explain, I can explain it now. Okay, maybe it's just the case. I was going to explain it a little later with all the cues I'm taking. Let me explain the first what.
I didn't want to mess up your
Okay,
script
okay.
or your schedule, so
Perfect,
you
perfect,
can
perfect.
just
Okay.
go as planned.
Okay, no, this. Okay, another common mistake with this with the Bunretsu for this pattern of Bunretsu. The first wave, as I said, is pretty strict. Is way more harder than it appears. Okay, this Bunretsu here is escaping because I was not respecting spacing and tempos. Let's see. This is basically a pattern breaker, but you can try to recover from it by forcing the spawn we just saw for the third wave in the second wave. Let's see. It's very similar. It's not exactly the same, but it's very similar. Okay. Okay, then the chaining got messed up because I was not accustomed to this eminence. I think, okay, here I died, but it's not an issue. Why I am showing those recoveries? Because I want to stress that what you can do in the third wave, you can do in the second wave, largely. Okay. Now, let's give some hints about the timings. Shiggy is for later. Okay, the key parts are: you kill this Utatsugumi just before it's at the exact center of the screen. You can watch here that I'm aligned to slightly to the right. Okay. Second important cue is that you kill those two as they are overlapping. Then you have the other cue I'm taking. I kill those two have to die, so that I have anything to the right of my twin shot. Then, respecting this Utatsugumi, this white Utatsugumi that you want not to kill, we go to the left and use this Utatsugumi as another visual cue. Okay? We have killed it, and now we are doing the Takashima trick to make the second wave spawn super fast. Okay, you can let's see, and this is a super fast. Now you can say, but MAZ, if you are doing it, you are executing the Takashima trick on the first wave by being white, in white polarity, you may have an easier time, because with white the movement is cleaner. You are sacrificing revenge bullet, but you are getting more consistent. The answer is absolutely not, because let's see. Eccola, here we go. Watch here. Chaining is largely the same. Now, switching to white to kill those enemies faster and cleaner. And then what happens? Let's watch it again. This is basically the ultra fast spawning. It is unchainable and ruins the path. I was encountering this occurrence more and more, and I solved it by slightly slowing down the kill speed of the Black Tatsugumi by being on of their same polarity. It might looks like a few frame gain or loss in this case, but it was making all the difference in the world in improving consistency. Okay, new pattern. Okay, now with the second wave. Okay, we start by... Okay, you have to touch... My visual cues are the followings. You basically want to set the diagonal so that you do not miss it. You kill this, the initial two leftmost Utatsugumi with a twin shot. Then you start going up and to the right. This movement is pivotal. It may seem trivial, but it's pivotal because you want to set your timing right. I sadly, this is the, as you correctly pointed out, Plasmo, this is the hardest part execution-wise of the whole strat. And I'm sorry about it, but the cue is very subtle because not very easy to replicate. You have to develop a feel for it. If you see, okay, you see that I'm stopping right here just for a little moment. I'm basically regulating it by I'm a pad player. I just leave the thumb for a moment and then restart the movement right again. You have to develop a feel for it. There is no other way around it because it's a timing cue. But with this little pause, I'm able to chain everything most of the time. Let's see. I'm doing it at full speed now. One moment. Okay, slow, a little pause, and you start. Okay. Another thing you want to watch for it. When you are starting the diagonal, you have to kill this one. Because this one and this one. Because those two Utatsugumi will go to the back of you and will hamper the correct chaining. We see? We're killing it and we're killing it. 1 and 2. Perfect. And now you can proceed with your diagonal. You see that I am extremely close to the black Utatsugumi and it's not rare to ram it to death. But sadly there is no other best way to do it because you need to chain everything in order to make the last wave spawn the way you want. Okay, now you want to kill.
Oh, and in this replay, you're not doing a straight diagonal. You're doing like a very small correction.
Oh yeah.
Towards the final third.
Okay, one moment. You see,
so is that intentional, or
yeah,
are you just trying to make up time?
Where you are? Where exactly, Plus?
So when you're doing the diagonal. Towards the very end of the movement, you do like a slight break, and it's not like a straight diagonal. It's like very tiny bit off, I think, or maybe I misread it.
You mean here?
Yeah, like this final
okay,
one.
Perfect.
When you're towards the end, like between the two black. I think you're not doing that. Yeah, see there? You like a very small step.
Because, okay, what I'm doing here. Basically, this is not a straight diagonal. It's more like more little diagonals that I adjust to chain everything. Okay. You see, I want to get this one without killing the 3 black Utatsugumi here. And then I steepen the diagonal to kill these white Utatsugumi, those white Utatsugumi here. Okay, let's watch again. This was the answer, Plus?
Yeah, I think I got it.
Nice. Then what we are doing the Tagashima trick again. Perfect. Now, stop. You see that I'm not killing after killing the last white Utatsugumi, I'm not killing the black Utatsugumi from the get-go. There is a little pause. I'm actually waiting for the black Utatsugumi to be exactly, no, not exactly, right at the middle of this line. Maybe a little bit to the left, but at the middle of this line here, we are using a visual cue now, okay? You see, I'm checking fire and waiting for this to reach this line on the screen. Why I'm doing this one? Let's see. Okay, is this one? See. One moment, sorry guys. Nope. Yes, okay, it's this one. In this video, you see that I'm killing the last white Utatsugumi, and then immediately later, I'm not checking fire, and I'm killing right the first black Utatsugumi right after it. Okay, did you notice? Okay, we are starting from the last part of the second wave, where we left out on the other video. Okay, as you may notice, I did not check fire. What will happen? Let's see again. Basically, we get a slow spawning pattern. Okay, I was not able to understand why this was happening and why I had to take this cue in order to make the spawn I wanted. I think it's because, as we said, the system checks the number of enemies off screen every 24 frames, and the check was the number variation in this way is happening in between checks. So the system got 8 or more before the check and 8 or more after the check, and is automatically reading it as okay, let's give him the standard slow speed spawning. It may see a very subtle difference, but here we go. Okay, diagonal, Takashima trick. It's just I'm waiting really for a few frames, but those are making the difference about slow spawning and this medium spawning that we are chaining in this particular way. Okay. What are the Kei Utatsugumi to watch with this strat? Okay, stop. We are taking this cue. Okay, so wait for this one to cross this line, this Utatsugumi to cross this line. We have okay. This Utatsugumi has to cross this line, then we want to kill this Utatsugumi right before the white one appears. You see, white one, the Utatsugumi is this one. As soon as we kill this Utatsugumi, we start to move to the right and kill this Utatsugumi. This Utatsugumi is really important because it makes spawn a lot of Utatsugumis, other Utatsugumis. So you have to kill it here because otherwise you will have later other Utatsugumi to your back and will not make a complete chaining. Then use the twin shot. A moment, it's very hard to catch. Okay, you see this one. You have to aim for this one before the white Tatsugumi cover it. Shield it for your fire. And then it's just a standard Bunretsu chaining. Okay, I know that those are really are the concepts just to execute. It's worth to explain them, especially in a language that is not mine. Do you have any questions?
I think you have covered like the most important parts of it. I mean, we have not talked about shiggy yet, and that basically
Yeah.
all the bun-detsu chains depend on how fast you kill the mid boss, because the section thereafter then takes longer. But
Let's go.
the basic patterns and the development, I think, was made very clear.
Yeah. Okay. I'm using where we started. We have this shiggy speedgy strat. This footage is from an old replay from MSK Mashiko, the great Mashiko. I think Plasmo, you may know him pretty well.
Yeah, he is one of the very few of the 36 million club.
Yes. Most exclusive club in in shmapping, maybe. Almost. Surely in Ikaruga.
Yeah, I think he got the second highest score in Ikaruga, like worldwide.
I think so. Yeah. It's second highest score ever. Yeah. The other were Wiz, Tomokiso, and Riken, I think. And Riken got his 36 million score lately, last year. By the way, this is the strat you can already watch in the famous KTR 263 chains stage 3, which was the bible for stage 3 scorers for a long time. You can find it on YouTube if you do a quick search.
Oh, and is this played on the Xbox version, or is it Steam? Oh, it's Steam, I see it.
This is Steam. This is Steam. KTR video, I think it's on GameCube. I'm pretty sure about it, but it's on YouTube. I'm not using it because the quality is a bit low, it's an old upload. So I recorded an example of the previous shiggy strat directly on Steam. Okay, what was the... what the player is doing is basically destroying the white pods first, immediately, as soon as he can, then the white half, and then is destroying the rest of the shiggy bodies, right? You can see that the strat is are really quite hard to execute, and the critical part is this one. Okay. You are killing this white this white pod, sorry, right before it escapes, basically. I was having troubles killing it. No, so I started to look for alternative strats. Now, let's see this strat. Okay, what I'm doing here, I'm not killing the white pod immediately, as you can see. I'm trading revenge bullets for laser making, laser energy. With this strat, I was getting more or less the same time you will get with the previous strat, but I was personally more confident about it, so I started employing this strat of letting the white pod, let's see another time, the white pod sleeping past you, and you then using its laser to recharge my energy level. Okay, then what happened? Let me, okay, with this, okay. What happened? Player Takashima, we did not know before, and we meet in that occasion basically, posted on Twitter a refined fast shiggy. Let's see. He basically developed my strat of leaving this one pod alive for lasers charge. And what he was doing, he was optimizing, already optimizing the damage on the black parts, so that he was killing it very fast. But now you can ask, oh, we don't have a game timer, of course, so how you can exactly quantify the speed of a shiggy kill? Let's use the background as usual. Perfect. We are using those double walls as a reference. Let's count them. One double wall, single wall. Second double wall, another single wall. And third double wall. In order to have a good shiggy speed kill, you want to kill it at the third twin double walls before the following single wall appears. Okay, but we needed a more strict way to quantify this speed kill. So now imagine that shiggy is like a clock, so 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Let's put an imaginary clock on shiggy. Stop. We're using the position of this pod, which is the lower pod at the moment the third double walls appear, to mark the speed of shiggy kill. Let's see there. Focus this one. Okay. One moment, sorry guys. My bad, I fucked up my script. It's the one that is in the upper part of shiggy at the moment of the third double walls appear. So let's see. Exact moment when we kill it. Let's image the clock around shiggy. This is a 3 o'clock speed kill. Okay. Is it clear, Plus?
Yeah, that's very clear to me.
Perfect. Okay. Basically, in order to have a very fast shiggy speed kill, you want to kill it in between before 3 o'clock. Okay, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 0 o'clock. Those are very, very good shiggy timing time kills, speed kills. This video really spurred another round of intense activities around this strat, and we try to improve the kill the most we can, because remember, every frame spared in shiggy is may account for an additional chain with Bunretsu chaining. Okay, now we go with Tashigi. This is a strat I had ended up developing for shiggy that is currently probably the fastest way to kill shiggy, at least the fastest I know of. We call it tashigi. Xerka christened it tashigi because it looks like it's tas. In fact, I developed it first with save states, and then trying to be able to execute it during full runs. Plus, tashigi is the name of a bird in Japanese, so it is in line with enemy naming in Ikaruga. This pattern is all about damage distribution. Okay, let's see what I'm trying to do. Okay, first thing first. This will be okay. First, white pod has to be mostly very heavily damaged. Just we want just a little bit of health remaining. Then release on 10 energy level release on the second white pod. You don't want to kill it, remember, so you do not have to full release on it, because a full release equal on a pod destruction. If you release on 11, you have to hold fire, because otherwise you will destroy it. It's quite... we are speaking on really subtle differences here, so this accounts for the difficulty of replicating this pattern during the game. You see, again, this one is escaping with very little health. Okay, another thing we have to say, shiggy is random. What I mean by this is movement left. You can see that his body is moving left, right. This is random. So you have to match your execution to stay the most you can in the middle, so that you can absorb 2 lasers at a time, because you need every possible ounce of energy for it. Oh shit. Okay. Again, I'm releasing on this pod. I want it to be just with a little slice of health. More of this about later. Okay, this is the first part of the shiggy strat. We are distributing the damage the most we can. So let's repeat it. This is little health thanks to a release. Again, little health thanks to a release. You are starting. Okay, this is another key part. Remember this damaged pod. This is a very tricky execution, because if you kill it before releasing, all the lasers will luckily go on the black half of shiggy body, and they will destroy it, thus ruining your chain, breaking your chain. You want both to release at a good level of 11, 10, never under 10, because you have to damage it to almost destruction, this black body half to be almost destroyed, but not destroyed of course. But you don't want to kill it, because revenge bullets, on one hand, revenge bullets will fully charge you, and when you discharge a full release, you will destroy the black part. Okay, and you want it to be just alive, because you need it for to hit one of the homing lasers, so that you are sure to not kill the black half. You see, I did it well. You can see just a little bit of health on the black body part. Now, this is the part where you have to trust all your work you did before on shiggy, because we have currently this white part is quite healthy, but this pod is almost destroyed. this other pod is almost destroyed, and this pod is quite healthy. What you do? Full release. You gain some room to maneuver. The twin shot destroy what was left of the last white pod, and you immediately full release on the white body part because you want it to destroy as soon as possible. Let's see. Of course, you have a very strict interval because if you delay the release too much, some of the homing laser will destroy the already heavily damaged black pod. You can see how I let the black pod pass. I'm firing with my twin shot on the white half to destroy it. Okay, one moment. Okay, this is the last part. I'm about to destroy the white half. I have the black half that is almost destroyed, a black pod that is almost destroyed, and I have the other black pod, right? Okay, this might look very tricky. Indeed it is. Let's see what happened. White, black, black pod, black pod. Okay, what happened? I am, as I said, I have to trust what I did. So I know that the black pod and the black body part are about to be destroyed. So I close on them. I have this is a very critical part because often the damage distribution is not right and you are going to ram into the body or into the pod. So I close on them because I don't only want to kill them fast, but I need their revenge bullet to recharge my energy. Now, what I use is a technique that is the Japanese players call tail biting. What it is? I am basically going to point blank release. Let's see if we can get the exact same amount. Okay, I am basically going to close to point blank range on the last pod and release just right before I collide with it. I ram into it. In this way, the homing laser have no time to travel and will instantly connect with the pod, thus destroying it immediately. In this way, I am sparing the traveling time of the laser because the pods are rotating objects, and the the homing lasers have difficulties instantly connecting with it. Let's see. Okay, I killed the lower pod here, so it is basically in a clock. The other pod would have been 180 degrees to the other part. It's a 1 clock speed kill. Very good.
I think also what happens to the lasers, or like a very general behavior of them, is that when you make an energy release and the lasers are coming out, for the first few frames they are not homing in at all. So like the first, I haven't counted, but let's say like the first 10 frames or so, they're not homing, and from there on, from this place, then suddenly home in on, well, maybe the next enemies, the closest enemies, or the polarity. It's not clear how it works exactly, but I have a feeling that the very beginning of the release functions differently as compared to the rest of it.
Yeah, I think that the first few frames are used by the lasers to home in on the various target. It's like the system confirms, okay, the laser have to hit this, let's go. But it's highly probable that they work this way. By closing the distance, you are basically using the laser without the need for them to home on a target, because they are forced to collide with the object that is immediately behind you.
Yeah. So exactly from the frame you have paused right here, I think this would be when, like about when the lasers would home in to enemies. Now there are none on screen, so it doesn't matter. But before this, so from the moment you release up to this point, you can see now, or you were able to see, like when they're coming out. In this short duration, the lasers are not homing in, and you can use that to your advantage in some other sections of the game as well.
Oh, yeah. This tile biting technique is used in in other parts, like the final part of the flower, or during the full release for the full release of Chu1.
Right, yeah.
Okay, so this was at 1 o'clock. Let's see how far if we can push it. This is a save state, sadly. It's not a full stage run. We see how I am doing my damage distribution. Okay, let's see. This is basically almost 11 and a half speed kill. Okay? You can see that Shiggy has not even left the double walls, the tiered double walls. This is basically a dream speed kill, but it's really hard to execute. You are, as I said, you are okay with a speed kill from 3 o'clock or lower. Okay? Sadly, this is really hard to replicate, and it basically also depends on how Shiggy behaves. Because, as I said, Shiggy oscillation, lateral movements are totally random, and you have to adjust your execution to it. Okay, I think I have tried my best to explain Shiggy and Bunretsu. If you want, we can give a look at my tiered stage, last tiered stage PB, and highlight some of the other parts, hot parts of stage 3. We are going to be way less complicated, at least from a conceptual stage point, because you can notice that a lot of conceptualization, theoretical activity went into understanding the Bunretsu and retro engineering what we were doing in the third wave into the second wave to spare a bit of time. Tell me.
I think time-wise we can have a look at your final, so to say, chapter 3, but we would probably have to wrap it up afterwards. So maybe we can leave the explanation of other parts of the chapter for another time.
Okay, I'm perfectly okay with it. No problem.
But yeah, watching the 273 in its entirety.
One moment. I have one more bonus clip. Did I say that that the GameCube has more time, right? Okay, watch what can happen in GameCube. Okay, we are starting with a very fast Shiggy. Okay, first wave, Takashima trick, super fast second wave, my wave for the fast third wave, my pattern from the fast third wave. Watch how much time now.
Oh, that's crazy. You get so many of the white waves. So how many chains can you get on the GameCube then?
Those are globally 282 chains, so it equals to 78 Bunretsu chains.
That's such a huge difference.
Yeah, it's basically game-changing difference. you can argue that GameCube scores, if they were exploiting this, must be on another scoring category almost. Problem is that nobody noticed it because nobody was pushing at the time the segment so much, but the difference is groundbreaking, at least for a stage 3 standpoint.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like that many players are using the GameCube version anyway.
Ah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
most of them are just using Steam these days.
Steam and
If they're
PS4.
not playing at the arcade.
Steam, PS4, or the NESica version, of course. But on game,
Yeah, of course.
on GameCube you have so much time. Okay. So, okay, tell me, Plus, what we want to do?
Maybe we can just have a final look at your 273 clip, like the whole chapter, maybe.
Okay, so
wrap it up.
we are not using. Okay, let's say we are not using the YouTube source. We will look at it directly into the video clip I recorded. So we have not any problem. Here we go. Okay, first part is 231, is the R-type part, if you can say so. R-type because it is a reminiscent of stage 5, I think, of the original R-type, or was it 6, the one with the moving blocks? I don't remember well. This part is all about dot hitting and laser milking, and about triggering the 78 bonus chain at the end. As you can see, I am maximizing my time, the time I'm staying with lasers. The more you stay with the laser, the best it is, because I think every 20 frames it's 1000 points. So you really want to follow the lasers while you are chaining the section. Okay, this is the first particular part. As you can see, I am sparing this Utatsugumi because I want to return on the wet laser the faster I can. Okay, stop. This is the part where I make the 78 chain spawn. What is the trick? This is a trick by player Mamachi. He highlighted it for the first time. Okay. Basically, Mamachi discovered that if you release while being closer to the walls, the homing laser have a favorable angle and will kill the black Utatsugumi here sooner than releasing more closer to the circling Utatsugumi. Let's say we are not releasing here, we are releasing in this area. The angle is unfavorable and the homing laser will take more time. Let's watch it again. Watch how I release close to the walls. And in fact we got 78 chain. Okay, the score is also very good. Let's say that 2.1 is the threshold for a very good 3-1.
You said your PB for this section would be 2.105.
No, I got recently a 2.109.
109 even. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
but that's still like less than 10k away, so this is very
No.
highly optimized already.
Absolutely good. Okay, what follow is my personal strat for making the most out of the following session. You have to kill the Tobis. I think they are called Tobi, if I'm not Toki. Sorry, the shooting enemies, the big shooting enemies, the faster you can. Okay, what cues am I taking? Okay, I will release as soon as those roads, let's say roads, start to turn. Okay, they started to turn, release. Okay, in this way, with this strat I got, maybe I'm not explaining everything because we will take another hour of the stream. This way we get every possible chain out of what we call the diving Isuka. Okay, 99 chain. To know if you do your job right before, you have to wait for this vertical triplet to spawn. Okay, this is a pretty straightforward section. No bonus chains. What is following, we are calling it up and down Isuka.
Yeah, back in the day we were calling them already the up-down ships. So
Nice.
pretty tricky section
Okay.
to get down.
Yeah. It was the bane of my stage 3 back in the days, but eventually, being not a randomized part with time, you will eventually get better. Okay, what I'm doing is slightly different from other players. Let's see. Okay, I am not good, being a D-pad player, I'm not good at making a small adjustment. Other players usually what they do, they are not recognizing the gap on the fly, but they are zigzagging past those Izuka while chaining them, which is probably easier, but I was find it very difficult to do. So what I did, you know of course that in this section we have safe lanes where you can go down without hitting the hitbox of the Izuka. I'm recognizing the pattern on the fly here. Let's say, okay. I immediately start to go down, and this is important because I'm applying the same trick for the last part of the up and down Isuka. It's usual when let's see, at this part when you are going to chain those black Isuka, you're using releases. Okay, what happened that usually the first one Isuka or the Isuka that is at the right and is lower escapes, get destroyed by the walls, and you are leaving with a vacant chain. You can recover for it, but we are losing a chain. So what I do, I use one moment. I use the last white Isuka I'm going to chain as a visual cue. I destroy it, change polarity, immediately release to take this one out. And then I start go down as fast as I can to release in a favorable position and kill the last, the left, rightmost and lower Isuka. Let's see. You see that by doing it very fast, I'm already in position to kill this Isuka while it is way far from the wall is going to hit eventually. Nice. Hard but straightforward section. Okay, now this is another chapter 3 hard part. I surnamed this part Zigzag Isuka. I don't know if this was the surname you were using too in the ika.co.uk community, but it is a very hard part because you have a very few time to switch between white and black chains. Let's see. Okay, this is so hard. You basically are going to do white, black, white, black, white, black, white chain, black chain. Okay. Okay, and by now you must know the drill. Okay, here damage distribution was not excellent because I left too much health on the... Okay, this is worth mentioning. I left too much health on the black elf of Shiggy body, which resulted in a slightly delayed kill of it and a slightly delayed Tashigi execution. Let's see. You see?
So that's more or less about a 2 o'clock kill.
Exactly. 2 o'clock kill.
Yeah, about that. Seems good.
Very good execution here of the Bunretsu.
This is handled beautifully. Looks so clean.
Okay, do you remember that I said that 0 o'clock or 11 o'clock, 11 and a half o'clock is possible? I was just one Utatsugumi away from closing another chain. So all this work of optimization on Shigi was really important and was really what propelled the stage 3 past 8 million, because very few gains on Shigi may result in another 1 or 2 chains on the Bunretsu. Okay, we are watching our bad boy Uzura speed kill just to complete the stage.
So what do you think? How does the future of Chapter 3 look like? Do you think there's still more chains to get? Maybe with the faster Shiggy strats? Or where do we go from here?
Okay, this is an interesting question. Of course, there is still not... I think that personally, 273 may not be the last number standing as for chain counts, because I demonstrated that in this episode that you can get a way faster Shigi than the one I get in this run. So there may be room for maybe 2 more chains, let's see, maybe 3, I don't know. But I think that more or less the strat will be hard to get a better strat than this one, because this is already an highly optimized strat. It was engineered thanks to save state practice, and replicating it, at least for me, it was really hard. So I don't know if you can get a better strat. Also because this is not only a empirical strat, there was a lot of reasoning. We can hardly get a faster spawn for the second wave, and if we get it, we cannot chain it totally, so we have no control on the third wave. So I think that as far as the pattern goes, we are we are at it. It's now it's all about getting a slightly better execution at shiggy and executing the pattern well. What I really like to stress is that this pattern may be used for full runs. And what this means, in full runs, if we can get pretty good at it, the very meaning of this pattern is that if we get a suboptimal shiggy, okay, we have the time to chain the Bunretsu for up to 8 millions, okay? Let's see, I want for you to watch this. Okay. One moment. My bad. No, sorry. Again, that's not this one. Okay. What you can notice about it? It is a 7.947 score with a chain break.
Insane.
Exactly. This is if I can get it.
So I'm guessing the chain break was before the end, right? Somewhere in the beginning.
You guessed it right. It was of course at the zigzag Izuka.
Yeah.
Of course. So this strat has a very.
By the way, about the boss, isn't it possible to get 81 seconds, or is 80?
It's possible to get 82, but this is
82 even.
82, yeah. But there is only one person who can do it, and it's not me.
Okay, I see.
It's Mashiko, it's MSK, and I'm not going to learn it because I feel really confident with the current strat I'm employing, and I don't want to spoil it because it's really execution reliant. So I don't want to mess timings. To mess up timings.
Yeah, it's a huge issue anyway. That I mean, the whole time we are basically talking about the individual stage as such. But you were touching a little bit what you can actually do in runs, for which you of course need a much higher consistency rate. And maybe for full runs we are not looking for 8.1 million, but maybe at most 8 million. But correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure just how risky, just how insane those strategies you've talked about in this episode are in full runs.
Okay, I will tell you this. Okay, I got this last week. The week before, I have the opportunity to practice a lot, and I was actually getting worse during the time, during the weekend. So I basically raged, which means that I took a day off, and then I started for the whole following week when I was trying, when I had time to play, I focused only on the Bunretsu. Like I had 40 minutes just Bunretsu save stating, because the execution is, as you may have noticed, the execution is reliant on a few frames of difference. You have to hit very tight timing windows in order for it to work. So you have to practice it a lot. And I don't know. My usual rule is that if you practice it enough, you may eventually get it, may be able to replicate it with some sort of consistency. I will surely try to implement it for full runs, but I have to see how it develops. Okay, in the last few sessions before getting the 273 stage 3, I was getting good consistency, which means I was getting it right like 4 times in every 12 or 5 attempts. Let's say it's
pretty good.
It's a 30%. It's absolutely good. Considering the difficulty of the pattern is fantastic, but it's still at 30% success rate at best. So for full runs, I think that I'll like to have a better consistency. I will go for it because having a full run with no chain break and an 8 million stage 3 will be extremely big. I don't know if it will be, I will eventually get it, but after all this work, I don't want to simply go back to the safer strat. I will really like to implement it in full runs.
Yeah, these recent developments for Chapter 3 are extremely exciting to follow, and it's just amazing how much the chapter has developed over all those years. And I think if people will push Chapter 3 further and further and try to implement these threats in full runs, improvements on the world record could be seen as well. And with all the other new strategies, like there are some more people have found out over the past few years. I think we can expect the record eventually to go higher into the 36 territory, maybe even 36.5, 0.6 or something. In theory, it is possible to get 33, the 33 million extend, which would be another 500k, which would be absolutely insane. It's probably up to this point still TES territory.
Yeah.
If you just add all the
Absolutely.
like the best chapters on the Treasure online rankings together, you get like completely ridiculous scores. So there's some room for improvement, but only time will tell just how far players will push it. It will be very exciting to follow. And I think we are about to have to wrap it up at this point in time. So, Maz, thank you very much for enlightening us on like all the intricacies of the bun-detsu chaining. It was absolutely fascinating to follow, especially coming from the expert himself, who's pushing the chapter further and further. So, thank you very much for coming on and explaining this all to us here on the episode. Thanks.
Thank you for inviting me and giving me the opportunity to try to highlight all the stuff that is beyond stage 3.
Yeah, and also thanks to Pearl, who did the episode anyway, even though he's feeling a bit sick today. So thanks for holding in there the whole time. And thanks for watching, everyone. And I think, yeah, that's about it. As you know, we cannot really tell when the next episode will happen. Eventually, probably this year, we will come together for maybe 2-3 more episodes. And we'll see if we go back to the old format of just watching some Superplays we dug out in some archive, or if we want to go the route with these more technical sort of videos we've got today. I know it's very specialized content, and if you're not very much into the game, so today into Ikaruga, it might be difficult to follow, but we'll see how it goes in the future. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone, and see you next time.
Bye.